Hi, welcome to the Timmy Willis Show. And you know I always like to bring you exciting guests. And guess what? I found an extraordinary individual. As you can see, he's an exceptional drummer. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great pleasure to bring to you the one and only Mr. Elliot Clayton Powell. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, brother.
Man, that is some awesome drumming you doing over here, man.
Nothing but fun.
Yeah.
Nothing but fun.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Look here, we going all the way back to the beginning, man.
Okay.
Where was you born?
Man, I was born in Rankin, little town in Rankin, right beside Swiss Valley, in between. On your way to Kennywood. That's all everyone knows Rankin. Other than that, you'll miss it.
Yeah, you know what? That's my route. Going to Kennywood, Rankin.
That's
yeah,
it.
TJ's Lounge. I used to play there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Well, what was it like for you growing up in Rankin, man?
Man, it was like a community, man, and everyone was a friend in Rankin, man. And you can leave your doors open. But I remember being in Rankin. When I got a drum set in Rankin, I would make all the noise in Rankin. That's, everyone knew that Clayton was practicing. When I was in Rankin, but that's one of the very best parts of my life, being in Rankin. I was there up until I graduated from high school.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, as a kid, man, what did you do for fun, man, in Rankin, man?
Man, I thought at one point I was going to put myself through college by playing basketball.
Is that? Oh yeah, you was doing the hoop thing.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a basketball player. Actually, I was a better basketball player than a musician.
Is that right?
Yeah. For a moment.
Okay.
For a hot moment, yeah.
Yeah. So, did you ball like on a daily basis?
My Uncle Don was this super athlete in the area, and he told me that when he was younger, he would be outside from the time he woke up until they had to come and get him.
Is that right?
So I mimicked him.
Okay.
Summers came around, and I would get up as early as I could get up and just go play basketball.
Yeah. Well, what about now, man? You still ball every now and then?
I talk noise, but I don't really do it.
You don't really do it?
I try to. Every once in a while, someone to get me, I'll have to pull my sneakers out. But
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about like TV shows, man? Like when you was a kid, man. You have any favorites, man?
Man, I love the superheroes.
Is that right?
And to this day, I still like Batman.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I will watch Batman reruns and there's one on Homebox that's showing right now.
Okay.
I watch that regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I was a Batman fan too.
I love Batman and Superman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
No. Are you only child?
No, I have a younger brother.
You do?
Yeah, I have a younger brother, it's Jeff, and he can do this thing too.
Okay, he plays drums too.
He can do this thing too. He won't, but he can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of like runs in the genes, or did you kind of like instructed him and got him up and running?
I got him started. Now this is what happened for real. When I was younger, my mom said, I would find anything that was long and thin. If it looked like a drumstick, hot dogs, utensils. If it looked like a drumstick, I was going to hit you with it.
Okay.
And that's where it started. So they bought me a little set when I was a little kid, and it was a toy set. I never really learned how to play it, but I got a snare drum when I was younger. I guess I was about in the 7th or 8th grade. Got a snare drum, started taking snare drum lessons. Still didn't really know how to play it. Got a drum set when I was 16. That's when I started learning how to play.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of taught myself how to play.
Yeah. Well, what was it about the art of drumming that actually caught you? So like you said, you started out with the basketball thing, but something happened that the drums, man, and drumming caught your interest. What was that? You remember?
Yeah. It didn't get serious for me until I went to a Luther Vandross concert. And I saw the drummer down at the Civic Arena on that stage.
Yeah.
The stage was spinning. And I said, I need to be able to do that.
Okay.
And sure enough, several years later, I ended up on that same stage that Luther Vandross's drummer was on.
Right.
And that's what messed me all up.
Yeah.
And it's been on ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: what about school? Did you do any drumming when you was in school?
Yeah, I played in the high school band, GBA. Then the merger happened. And I went to Churchill. And I was the very first African American to play in the Churchill High School's band.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah, as a drummer.
Yeah.
That was a new thing, totally new thing. So my first experience, they threw me in the drum line, and they had already been rehearsed and everything. They gave me some drums and said play. I had no clue that I wasn't supposed to jam. There was a set pattern that you're supposed to play, but I came from not knowing what to do because they gave me the drums and said go for it, so I went for it. They stuck me out there, and then they had to pull me back in, say no, we need you to play specific parts.
Okay.
And that was my first part. That was my first learning experience with being organized.
Right. Now,
Organized
do
music.
you read music?
Yeah, I can read.
No. When did you start reading? When did you first see your first piece of sheet music?
It was right around, well, when you're learning how to read, when you're taking formal lessons, they give you a book, give you a drum pad, and say, you start with the rudiments like that.
Right, exactly. So how old was you then? I mean, when did that start for
I
you?
guess that was about 13 or so.
About 13?
Right around 13. And then I got to high school, and everything is charted.
Right.
So in order to be able to hang out with the big boys, you better read it. So I had to learn how to read in high school.
So what was your practice regimen during this time? I mean, did you get on it every day or?
I played the drums every time I got a chance to.
Is that right?
Every chance I had, I was playing the drums. That was back in Rankin. I was making all the noise. All the noise. So it was fun. So all I did was practice, man. If I wasn't playing basketball, I was playing drums.
So in school, you were just strictly in the marching
It
band
was the marching band
situation?
It was the marching band. Remember, right around high school is when I was learning how to play the drum set. And actually, I learned how to play the drum set before I had a drum set, just by listening to this one, Grover Washington. When we all play that right now, in every jam session you go in, someone's playing Mr. Magic.
Yeah.
I learned how to play Mr. Magic on my legs.
Okay.
Just like this. And I figured it out. And I learned how to, that's when I figured out how to put the pieces together. What goes here and how this arm goes right here. Because
Right.
when you get lessons, they don't show you that you should put your arm here. And that's what this is for. And that's what I did, and I learned how to play.
Yeah. No, that first drum set, man, do you remember, what color was it, man? What kind was it? Where'd you get it from?
It was a red Royce Japanese drum set.
Was it?
Mom bought it from the pawn shop.
Okay.
It was clean. It was brand new. It was clean. It just wasn't a DW.
Okay.
But it was nice. It just wasn't a professional set. But
Yeah.
I had it for a long time.
Well, what about tuning? Were you into tuning the drums at that time, or you really wasn't conscious of like how to tune the drums?
I tried to tune them.
Did you?
I tried to tune them to what was going on and whatever I was playing. But I wasn't really good at it.
Yeah.
That wasn't
But
good.
you had some concept that the drums did need to be tuned. So,
Oh, absolutely.
At that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You hang out with the big guys and they tell you, hey, fix that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, man, you got an extraordinary bass player you brought with you today, man.
Oh,
Could
my
you tell
goodness.
us who that is?
Look, I've played all over the United States, and I've played with some of the very best musicians. I've seen all kind of best. My best friend in this entire world is one of my very, very best bass players, man, Roscoe Pete.
Roscoe Pete.
He is one of the baddest bass players in the land.
Yeah.
In the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all gonna do something for us.
Yeah, we the stuff that we do, we work as a team for the most part, and what made me successful is in my maturity, I groove now.
Okay.
Groove first, jam second. And then when you build a relationship with an extraordinary bass player, it just gets better and better and better. So now he's part of my success. Some of the things I do, I'm popular because I've played some stuff and he's groomed me and said, don't do this, pull back on that, play it like this. So now I got a thing happening that's pretty popular.
So so you're humble too.
I try to be.
Yeah, well, you have to be for
Yeah,
somebody to be able to give you that type of input,
Yeah.
and for you to take it and work with it and
Sure.
make it happen. Because some cats, you can't tell them nothing.
Oh man,
You know what I mean?
my thing is you better learn from who you can learn from.
Yeah. So
You never stop learning. I surround myself with some of the very best guys I can get. And just take it all in.
yeah.
And then if they say, "Hey man, you're rushing me," pull it back.
So all you young ones out there watching, y'all listen now. You got to be humble. You got to be able to take advice. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your thing.
No doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts for the one and only Mr. Elliott Clayton Powell.
I like that.
For those of you just joining us, you are missing it. We're here with master drummer, Mr. Elliot Clayton Powell. Man, them are some super fine chops, man.
I'm glad you like it.
I'm telling you, we showed enough not liking it, but we loving it,
That's
man.
what's up.
I'm loving it. Now, Clayton, this is a beautiful kit here, man. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, back in the day we called them drum sets, but now they're drum kits. Okay, so this is a beautiful drum kit, man. Tell us about your kit,
Man, this is a DW. Back here in Pittsburgh and in areas like this is the very best you can get, man. I walked into the music store, and I was at a time in my life where I said, man, I need to have those. You know, money green and gold. You know, and I was treating myself, you know, to the very best that I could buy. You know, and these are DWs by Drum Workshop, man. And what makes this drum set so exquisite is they call it timber matching, man. They cut the tree down, and they make the whole drum set from one tree.
Okay.
So these drums, you're supposed to tune these drums individually to an individual note. That's what makes this drum set sing the way it does.
Yeah.
You know, and then they don't put any of the hardware, none of the hardware goes through the drums. You know, so they mount this thing. They were the first ones to start doing a rack mount system. You know, so make sure that when you're paying for a top quality drum set, you know, it's not going to make noise in the studio. You know, and you can depend on it. You know, I've had this for quite some time. I'm beating it up. You know, but it's my favorite set. It's my favorite set for real.
Well, let's talk about your tuning. What's your tuning techniques? I mean, what do you listen for when you do? You did mention about notes and stuff like that. So how do you?
Man, but all situations are a little bit different, man. So depending on where I'm playing, and the room I'm playing in, and the type of music I'm playing, like this is a fusion set right here. So the toms are smaller than a standard drum set. You know, so I just tune them according to the room, not so much the note like I'm supposed to, but the room that I'm playing in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed your cymbal setup now. I mean, some guys they do all Sabians or they do all Zildjians. I see you got a mixture here.
Yeah,
What do you look for, like when you go to the store to get a cymbal? I mean, what do you listen for? For some of the younger ones out there who might want to go out and buy cymbals, maybe you can tell them, you know, kind of like.
Man, you have to know the room you're playing in, so that means your arsenal has to be big. You know, for me, I like to hit hard, so I get thinner cymbals. You know, they break fast, but I get, you know, the heavier cymbal, the louder the room is going to be. It's going to be louder in the room. So when I'm looking for cymbals, I get a variety of cymbals. I have a ton of Sabian cymbals, but this is my very favorite cymbal, the Zildjian. You know, but like again, you have to have a big arsenal, you know, of it's put into your craft.
Right.
You know, so you have to be able to pick and choose what you need for the room.
Okay.
You know, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I pick and choose for the room. And, if I take all these big, heavy cymbals into a little small room, that's not going to work. You know,
Okay, I see what you're
then
saying.
you have folks telling you too loud.
Yeah, and then they won't call you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So from what you're saying, then you can get those cymbal packs to come in the box.
Right.
You can order them.
Right,
But you
right.
really, I mean, I always say, would you agree with this? It's best to go to the store and actually hit them.
That's exactly right.
And that way you can hear
That's
exactly what
right.
you're getting.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, because you can duplicate a cymbal. You can buy the same cymbal, right out the box, but it might not work well with your with the group that you have. Pick your cymbals out, man.
Yeah. Now, what about the music you listened to when you was growing up? What kind of music stuff did you listen to, man?
Man, I laugh at some stuff now because the stuff that I listened to when I was growing up, I've been on stage with some of those folks, man.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad used to listen to the Grover Washington, and that kind of stuff, man. Barcades, Parliament.
Right.
I ended up in a jam session with Billy Bass. Didn't know who he was.
Okay.
Bass player for Parliament.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I laugh at some of that stuff, but it's cool.
Yeah. Well, what kind of stuff you listen to now? I mean, what do you like?
Man, I like fusion. I just don't have a chance to play it.
Is that right?
Yeah, Dave Weckl. That kind of stuff. But I listen to a lot of smooth jazz.
Yeah.
A lot of gospel.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part. And R&B, I like live R&B.
Right.
Yeah, Usher live.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now, what about influence, man? I mean, who influenced you growing up? I mean, you
Man.
know, when you were starting out, man, any drummers like influence you?
Man, Omar Hakeem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Omar Hakeem, man. He, with Weather Report, man, I saw him. And at one point I was trying to look like him.
Okay.
Physically, I was trying to look like Omar Hakeem, man.
Mm-hmm.
I had locks at one point. But he was one of my very favorite. Dennis Chambers.
Okay.
And I still try to do some of the stuff that he does right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was, I don't know if I told you the story before. With when I was 16, I went to, I saw Luther's drummer down at the Civic Arena.
Right, right.
And that's
in the round.
Yeah, that's what really messed me up.
Yeah.
For the most part. That's when I knew it was serious, man.
Yeah.
My mom, my very first time taking my drum set out the house, I played with a national recording artist, and I didn't know, that's what I was doing.
Is that right?
They said, Clay,
you were just doing the gig.
I was just going. I was just going to play this concert. Clay, we need a drummer. So I went and did it. Man, I came home and said, Mom, they gave me money. They gave me money to do this. I couldn't believe it. And then I thought about it. They gave me money.
Yeah.
And from when I thought about it, I said, oh, they gave me money.
That's when it hit you.
That's when it hit me. I mean, I was 19 years old the first time I took my drum set out of the house because I wasn't good enough to play it.
Okay.
And the first time was with Big Dude.
Now, you was talking about that Luther concert, man, that drummer, man, that had that really grabbed you and had it. Now, from that point on, did you go to concerts, man, to watch the drummers and learn stuff from them?
I knew then that I needed to watch every drummer that, if it was a commercial, I was looking for the drummer.
Okay.
Whatever it is, look for the drummer. Look for the drummer, listen for the drummer. If I'm in the car, I'm listening for the drummer. And that's what, but seeing him live really inspired me and said, I want to be like that, and I'm going to do that one day. And sure enough, I did that. Several years later, I played in the same exact spot that drummer that influenced me played in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you know what that means.
So you couldn't tell me very much at that point.
Yeah, but you know what that means.
What's that
Dreams
mean?
do come true,
They
right?
do, man.
Yeah.
They do. And music kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kept me out of trouble, man. At the same time, I was learning a world full of wealth,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's segue into this, because it is the music business. And for a lot of the young people that's out there watching, I'm quite sure you've learned a lot of the business. Could you share some of the stuff? Maybe give them some pointers. Some people might want to get out there and do some of the things that you've been able to do.
One thing I will say for sure is that you cannot trust everybody in the business. The first person that tells you that we're going to do this and we're going to do this and let's record you and let's sign on, you never do that. You never ever. I remember some folks got me to audition for the National Baptist Convention when it came to Pittsburgh, and my audition was a live concert. They threw me out there and said, play, count the songs off, and I started playing. And that was my audition to do my very first recording. It was a live recording. And but the thing is, they tricked me, and they tricked us into auditioning because we were supposed to be with this big Patti LaBelle person. But the folks never paid Patti LaBelle. She never came.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my very first experience with the record people. You can't trust everyone that you talk to. So they tricked me into being there. I got the audition, got the thing. It was a learning experience for sure. I'd do it again, but I'd be more smart about it, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's good, man. Well, look, I know you and your partner going to do some more playing for us.
Yeah. We're gonna groove some more.
Okay.
Do what we do. At some point, we're gonna market this thing because we got a groove thing happening that I think that we can sell.
Yeah.
Even if we don't sell it, we can help folks with it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to need to be able to practice to a groove, and that's what we're going to do at some point.
Yeah. We was talking about that. We're going to talk about that more. Now, what's your partner's name again?
Roscoe P.
Mr. Roscoe P.
Yeah.
Funky
Bad.
Roscoe Pete. Bad mamma jamma. Well, I'm going to get out the way. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
fasten them seatbelts one more time
Yeah.
because here he come, Mr. Elliott Clayton Powell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we here kicking it with master drummer, Mr. Elliot Clayton Powell. Hey, Elliot, do you remember the first time you recorded? Because I know you're also a recording artist.
Man, my very first time recording was with the National Baptist Convention when they came to Pittsburgh. But that was a live recording. That's one of the things that I do.
Oh, that's the one that got you.
Yeah, that's the one they got me on.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you've done some recordings since then. What's some?
yeah, I had an odd experience in the studio with a bunch of guys that I went in with, and we didn't use any metronomes or anything. We just went in there and went for it.
Okay.
And that was one of my very favorite times in the studio. It was with some of my best friends. And we were working on a project that never really amounted to anything, but it was fun. Mm-hmm. Usually you go into the studio and it's full of pressure, and you have to do this and you got to do that, and but that was one time that we went in there, as a group. Individually we all had been in the studio, but we went in as a group, not prepared the way we should have been, but it was just fun.
Right.
And that was one of my favorite times in the studio.
Yeah.
There was absolutely no pressure.
No pressure.
No, none. Yeah. So that was one of my favorite times.
Yeah. Well, what do you like best? I mean, recording situation, or do you like doing the live thing?
I like live. I think for the most part, my successes come from being a live concert drummer. Mm-hmm. Some of the bands I played with, I played with some national bands, and I played with Brother to Brother was the last national band that I played with. Mm-hmm. And they recruited me specifically for my presentation.
Okay.
My live presentation.
Right. Now that Brother to Brother. Now you play with a lot of big names in the business. Tell us about some of those.
I'll say for the sake of time, one of the biggest experiences. Now I played with all these folks, but George Benson from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Showed up, and I ended up on the stage with him when we did a concert. Mm-hmm. And after it was all said and done, he walked over to me and said, "You don't have to ever be ashamed to do a solo." That was big for me because I grew up listening to George Benson.
Right.
Now I'm on stage with George Benson. So that was a big thing. That was right here in Pittsburgh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. That is cool. Now, back in 1989, you founded Different Drummer Productions.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that's all about?
And that's just nothing but a music mentor program, that I started because, kids all over the city of Pittsburgh were calling me for lessons. Everybody wanted to be with Mr. Clayton. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that I have a, I don't know what it is about me that the kids just gravitate to me. Young people gravitate to me. So I had an opportunity to really speak into some of these kids in Pittsburgh, and at the same time, show them what I do. Mm-hmm. And we established some guidelines and some rules, and as a result, some of these guys are playing all over the world.
Cool.
Right now.
Yeah.
And some of the very best young guys who's from Pittsburgh playing gospel music have been in my house. Mm-hmm. They started playing on my drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, man. That's one of the highlights of my music career has been just from the little people that I've been able to talk with and play with and share my gift with, and see them and watch them grow and become these big people who now I'm getting lessons from them. I'm learning. I'm watching them, my kids. I'm watching my kids. And they're showing me, Dad, do it like this. Yeah. Yeah. So and then. One of my students wrote a book report about me. Okay. That is one of the very best things that could ever happen from my gift of learning how to play the drums.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now there's some more little people. All right, see that camera right there, camera 2?
Yeah.
Now there's some more little people want to know how they can get in touch with you because they got some questions, man. They want to know how you spin the sticks and all that. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, the very best way to get me is through my email. ddrumpro@gmail.com. ddrumpro@gmail. Call me, email me. That's cool.
Okay, good. Now, when you look back on it all, you got any regrets?
I wish I would have stayed home a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I was out of the house a whole lot musically. Mm-hmm. So I missed some of the things happening, when I was, because I was out doing this thing and it was good. But sometimes you have to be able to balance it. Mm-hmm. You know, and as musicians, if you don't balance this thing, it can take you away. It totally take you out because we can get in our own world and stay there. You know, so that's what, you know, if I can do anything better, I would balance the way I did this. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this in closing. Is there anything about you that we haven't talked about that you would like people to know?
No, you know, this is just fun for me. You know, I'm having a good time with music, and I know for sure that music has kept me out of trouble. You know, some of the things that you know, happened right around me because I was focused and dedicated to this. I never thought that I would one day be able to feed myself from these drums. You know, and at the same time, you know, see the world.
Right.
You know, I've slept in so many hotels. I don't want to ever go back to another hotel. You know, but it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, and I enjoyed it. You know, and this is a dream, really a dream come true.
Yeah, well, I tell you,
yeah,
man, I really enjoyed you, man.
Yeah.
And this is a dream come true because I've been trying to get you on here for the longest.
Yeah, I'm glad you had me.
I appreciate you taking time out, man, and
Yeah.
coming down, sitting down,
Nothing
man,
but fun, man.
sharing some of your expertise with us and some of your life with us, man.
Yeah, nothing but fun.
Hey, you do make me a promise, man. Next time, man, you're around, you come back and visit us again?
No doubt. No doubt.
Okay.
Man, this is one of my very favorite places, man.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only master drummer, Mr. Elliot
My man.
Clayton Powell.